On the surface, Harley Davidson looks like pure muscle and chrome. But hidden inside are tricks the factory never brags about: silent guardians, clever shortcuts, and safety nets designed to kick in when you least expect it. These aren't the kind of tips you'll find in a manual. They're secrets that can mean the difference between a smooth ride and a breakdown, between control and chaos. And trust me, when we get to secret number 1, you'll never look at your Harley the same way again. Number 20. Tip-over mode locks out the starter. Hidden deep in your Harley is a safety feature most riders don't even know exists, a kind of silent bodyguard that only shows itself in the split second you need it most. Picture this: your bike tips over while the engine's running. Normally, that could mean oil spilling, metal grinding, or hundreds of pounds of steel kicking forward out of control. But Harley's tip-over protection kills all of that instantly. The second the bike tilts past a safe angle, the system cuts fuel and spark on the spot. No hesitation, no damage, no chance for a runaway machine. Here's the twist: Harley won't even let you start back up until you've proven you're back in control. To reset, there's a ritual. Stand the bike upright, cycle the ignition off and on, then press both turn signals together. Only then does the starter come alive. It might feel like overkill, but that sequence ensures the bike is stable before the power returns. Number 19. Rain Sock, the hidden performance killer. That little black nylon cover over your air cleaner looks harmless. Most riders even assume it's just part of the bike. But here's the truth: it's not meant to live there. It's a rain sock, built for one job: keeping water out of your engine when the skies open up. In a storm, it's a lifesaver. But once the weather clears, it turns into a silent killer. Left on too long, it strangles airflow, and a Harley that can't breathe feels sluggish, heavy, and unresponsive. The motor wants to inhale freely, but even that thin mesh can choke its power. The smart move is simple: keep the sock tucked in your saddlebag until the clouds roll in. Slip it on when the downpour hits, then pull it off once the road dries so your engine can stretch its lungs again. One rider rode for weeks with it still on. His Harley felt like it was dragging a weight. The day he finally pulled it off, he said it was like riding a brand new machine. If something as small as a nylon cover can sap Harley's spirit, imagine what happens when the only thing connecting you to the road, the tires, aren't dialed in. Number 18. The tire tip every rider misses. Most riders don't give tire pressure much thought. They check the oil, clean the chrome, and fill the tank. But those tires, they often get ignored until something feels wrong. The truth is, tire pressure quietly controls almost everything about how your Harley rides. The only thing between you and the road are two small patches of rubber. If the pressure isn't right, the whole ride suffers. Too low, and your Harley starts to feel heavy and lazy. Corners don't hold as well, and the tires heat up, wearing down way faster than they should. Too high, and the bike feels stiff and shaky. Grip disappears right when you need it most, like on wet pavement or during a sudden stop. The fix takes less time than a coffee stop. Before long rides, or at least once a week, check your pressure while the tires are cold. Stick to the numbers Harley designed for your model, because that's the sweet spot where performance and safety lock in together. The payoff? Thousands of miles where your Harley feels sharper, safer, and more alive. As one veteran rider put it, keeping your pressure dialed isn't just maintenance. It's the line between being a casual weekend. Number 17. 91. Octane is non-negotiable. The gas you pour into your Harley isn't just fuel. It's the lifeline that decides how strong, smooth, and reliable your ride feels. The truth is, these engines were never designed to run on bargain pump gas. They're tuned for no less than 91 octane, and anything less quietly chips away at their power. What the manuals don't spell out is how quickly the wrong choice shows itself. Lower-grade fuel makes the engine run hotter, weakens throttle response, and leaves your bike feeling sluggish on the road. That sharp, responsive growl you expect slowly fades, replaced with a ride that feels heavier every mile. Modern fuel-injected Harleys are even less forgiving. They're designed with precise timing and demand clean, consistent fuel to deliver smooth acceleration and strong pull. Use the right octane, and the difference is instant. Throttle snaps back to life, power feels effortless, and the motor stays cool and steady across thousands of miles. And speaking of effortless, did you know your Harley has one safety feature that works harder when the whole bike is off? Number 16. Hazard lights don't care about your key. Most riders assume shutting off the ignition means everything on the bike shuts down. Not on a Harley. If you flip on the hazard lights, they'll keep flashing long after the engine is cold and silent. That's not a malfunction, it's a built-in safety feature. Think about breaking down on a pitch-black highway or getting caught in heavy rain where visibility is near zero. The bike may be dead quiet, but those hazards keep pulsing in the dark, warning other drivers, "I'm here. Don't run me over." Here's what many riders miss. Those lights don't shut off on their own. You have to turn the ignition back on and manually cancel them. Some riders see that as a hassle, but in reality, that extra step might be the reason a truck doesn't clip you while you're stranded. It forces you to stay in control of when your bike goes completely dark. And Harley didn't stop there. They also thought about the reverse situation, when you want to bring the engine to life without moving the stand first. That's another clever detail most riders never notice until the day they really need it. Number 15. Your Harley will start with the kickstand down. Most riders think you need to lift the kickstand before starting the bike. Not true. On a Harley, as long as the transmission is in neutral, the engine will fire right up even with the stand down. It's a small feature, but it makes life easier. Imagine standing in your garage, helmet still on the counter, coffee in your hand, and you just want to hear that motor run. You don't need to climb on or hold the bike upright. Just press the switch and let it rumble. Now here's the safety side. The moment you drop it into gear with the stand still down, the engine shuts off immediately. That's the safety interlock at work. Without it, the bike could lunge forward and knock you, or anything in front of it, straight to the ground. Harley designed it so you get the convenience of easy starts, but with protection built in when it matters. Once you're ready to ride, there's another clever detail waiting. Harley gives you a simple way to lock your handlebars without extra gadgets or keys. It's one more reminder that the company builds small touches into the bike that most riders don't notice until they save the day. Number 14. The handlebar lock under the ignition. Your Harley has a built-in security feature many riders forget about. Right under the ignition switch is the handlebar lock. To use it, turn the handlebars all the way to the left, twist the ignition key past off, then push and turn the key. The bars lock in place so the bike can't be steered. Unlocking is just as easy. Turn the key back and the bars move freely again. No chains, no padlocks, no extra gear to carry around. It's all built into the bike. This lock keeps someone from rolling your Harley away or moving it without your permission. It's not complicated, but it adds real peace of mind when you leave the bike parked on the street or overnight. Many riders don't think about it until the day they actually need it. It's one of those hidden details Harley builds in. Simple, reliable, and ready to protect your bike with almost no effort. Number 13. Starting in gear, the hill saver trick. Most riders think you need to be in neutral to start the bike. On a Harley, that's not the case. If the transmission is in first gear and you hold the clutch all the way in, the starter will fire the engine. No need to hunt for the neutral light. Just squeeze the clutch, hit the switch, and you're running. This feature really proves itself on hills or in heavy traffic. If you stall at a stoplight on a steep incline, you don't have to fumble for neutral with cars stacked behind you. You can restart instantly, keep the clutch pulled in, and be moving again in seconds. The key is using it correctly. If you let the clutch out too early, the bike will jump forward. At best, it stalls. At worst, it can surprise you and the drivers around you. That's why experienced riders keep the rear brake pressed and their clutch hand steady when using this trick. Used properly, it saves time, keeps you in control, and makes hill starts far less stressful. It's not meant to replace neutral starts, but when the situation calls for it, this feature can feel like Harley built the bike with real-world traffic in mind. Number 12. Accessory mode. Power without the roar. Your Harley's ignition has a setting many riders overlook. It's called Accessory mode. This lets you use the bike's power without starting the engine. Turn the key to Accessory, and the bike's electronics turn on. The lights, radio, and GPS all work, but the motor stays off. This is useful if you're parked at night, stop to set up your gear, or just want music without making noise. Some new riders get confused because the engine won't start in this mode. That's normal. To start riding again, turn the key back to on, flip the run switch, and hit the starter. The benefits are simple. You can use your electronics without wasting fuel. You avoid unnecessary engine wear. You keep the bike quiet when you don't need the motor running. It's a small feature, but once you know about it, it makes stops and setups much easier. Number 11. The right way to shut down. Killing a Harley might look as simple as twisting a key, but seasoned riders know better. There's a rhythm to it, and once it's in your muscle memory, it can mean the difference between a smooth stop and a panicked scramble. The first move is always the kill switch. One flick of your thumb cuts ignition and fuel instantly, while the electronics stay alive just long enough to settle the bike. Only after the engine dies do you twist the key and shut everything down completely. It's quick, clean, and reliable, which is why veterans swear by it. More than convenience, it builds instinct. In an emergency, there's no time to fumble with a key. Your thumb already knows what to do, and that reflex could turn a disaster into a close call. Yet too many new riders skip it, relying only on the ignition and ignoring one of Harley's built-in advantages. That's like wearing half a helmet. You're protected, sure, but not nearly as much as you should be. And speaking of hidden advantages, Harley has another trick tucked away for when the worst happens, like when your key fob decides to quit at the worst possible time. Number 10. The hidden PIN backup. Most riders breeze past it, but every modern Harley carries a secret backup, an invisible failsafe that makes sure you're never stranded. Lose the fob, crack it, or drain its battery. No problem. As long as you know your 5-digit PIN, you can bring the beast back to life. Here's how it works. Switch the ignition on, and then tap out your code with the left and right turn signals in sequence. Once accepted, the security system disengages and the bike fires up like nothing ever happened. It's not just convenience, it's peace of mind. One rider once proved it at a gas station when his fob died. A crowd gathered, ready to watch him call for a tow. Instead, he calmly punched in his code, hit the starter, and rolled away to applause. It's the kind of feature you hope you never need, but the day you do, it turns you from stranded to unstoppable in 60 seconds flat. Of course, not every hidden feature is about emergencies. Some are about comfort, like the one Harley quietly built to keep both you and the engine from cooking alive in the summer heat. Number 9. Heat management, Harley style. When you're roasting in stop-and-go traffic, it feels like your Harley is trying to turn your thighs into barbecue. But Harley slipped in a clever fix most riders don't even notice. When the bike is hot, idling and sitting still, the rear cylinder quietly shuts down fuel delivery. Just like that, the heat wave aimed at your seat and legs eases off, and the engine gets a breather too. The beauty? You never feel a thing. The second you twist the throttle, that cylinder wakes back up like it never left, delivering full power with zero lag. It's Harley's way of saying, "Don't sweat it, I've got you covered." And while some riders dismiss it as minor, ask anyone who's baked at a red light in July. It's the kind of hidden magic that keeps both rider and machine from boiling over. Harley also figured out how to protect your battery from a completely different kind of drain, the kind that happens when your bike thinks it's being stolen. Number 8. Transport mode, the roadie's secret weapon. If you haul your Harley in a trailer, the security system can drain the battery. The motion sensors think the bike is being stolen and keep flashing the signals for hours. By the time you arrive, the battery can be dead. Transport mode solves this problem. It turns off the motion sensors but keeps the rest of the security system active. That way, your bike stays protected without wasting power. Here's how to use it. Keep the fob close to the bike. Turn the ignition on, then off. Hold both turn signals until the light flashes. That means transport mode is active. To turn it off, bring the fob back. Cycle the ignition again, and the full security system comes back on. For riders who trailer their Harley to rallies or across long distances, this feature prevents dead batteries and false alarms. It's simple, fast, and built in for exactly this situation. And while transport mode saves your battery on the road, there's another habit that saves your engine during the off-season, one most riders skip until it's too late. Number 7. Fuel tank armor against time. Here's one of the fastest ways to ruin a Harley while it's parked. Leave the tank half empty. Sounds harmless, right? But inside, moisture creeps in, condensation forms, and rust begins its slow attack. By the time spring rolls around, your tank could already be eating itself alive. And as if that weren't enough, gas left sitting too long breaks down into sticky varnish that gums up injectors and makes your first start of the season feel more like a coughing fit than a roar. The fix is so easy, it's almost laughable. Before parking your Harley for storage, top off the tank completely and add a quality stabilizer. That one 5-minute habit blocks out moisture, keeps fuel fresh, and saves you from a spring trip to the repair shop. Riders who know this trick don't start their season with sputters. They fire up like the bike never spent a single day standing still. Number 6. Harley Davidson Clean Belt. Every Harley rider lives for that rush when the throttle opens up, but few stop to think about the quiet part that makes it all possible. The real link between your engine and the road is the final drive belt, and while it rarely gets the spotlight, it is the reason your bike's power feels so smooth and controlled. That belt is tough enough to carry you for tens of thousands of miles, but it is not invincible. Every ride, it takes a beating from sand, grit, and tiny stones thrown up by your tires. Left sitting in there, those particles act like sandpaper, grinding away at the belt and wearing it down before it's time. That is why experienced riders build a habit of checking their belt the moment they finish a ride. If they have just come off gravel roads, dusty highways, or construction zones, the first move is a quick cleanup. A soft brush or light rinse is usually enough to clear debris, followed by a close look for cracks, frayed edges, or uneven wear. It takes only minutes, but it can add years to the life of your drive system. But keeping it clean is only half the story. Tension matters just as much. A belt that sits too loose can slip under hard acceleration, skipping teeth, and wasting power. On the other hand, a belt pulled too tight puts unnecessary stress on your pulleys and wheel bearings, setting you up for bigger problems down the line. Finding that perfect balance is the difference between a Harley that delivers every ounce of power and one that slowly eats itself alive. That is why veteran riders check their belts with the same discipline they check oil levels and lights. Number 5. Harley Davidson Parking Position Mastery. Parking a Harley is not as simple as just putting the stand down. The angle and surface you choose can decide how easy or hard it will be to leave again. The best option is to park so the bike is leaning slightly uphill. This keeps the weight locked in place and prevents it from rolling forward. If you don't have that choice and are forced to park facing downhill, there's one important step you can't skip: leave the bike in gear. That simple move keeps it from creeping forward and tipping over. It also helps to think about tomorrow, not just the moment you stop. Ask yourself how you'll get moving again. Will you have to push the bike uphill, through gravel, or out of soft asphalt? A heavy Harley is not easy to move by hand, and poor planning can make the next ride a struggle before it even begins. Finally, pay attention to the heat. On very hot days, asphalt can soften, and the kickstand can sink. Many riders carry a small puck or plate to place under the stand. That tiny piece of gear can make the difference between your Harley standing tall or falling slowly to the ground. Good parking means less stress, fewer risks, and no surprises when it's time to ride again. Number 4. Trickle Charger Port. Most Harley owners never realize it, but the bike already comes with a hidden lifeline for the battery. Instead of spending on aftermarket leads or wrestling with panels, the factory built a charging port straight into your motorcycle. It's simple, convenient, and designed to keep your bike ready for the open road. No more digging under seats, twisting bolts, or hunting for terminals. On most models, the port sits neatly on the left side, tucked under the seat or behind a side cover. Plug in a trickle charger, and your battery stays fully charged no matter how long the bike sits idle. Weeks or months of downtime won't leave you staring at a dead battery when you're ready to ride. Turn the key, and your Harley roars to life. That tiny port doesn't just make life easier, it protects your battery, prevents slow drain, and saves you from the shock of silence when the road calls. Veteran riders swear by it once they discover it. One confessed he used to tear panels apart every winter until he realized the factory had already done the work for him. Number 3. Audible Alarm Advantage. Here's something Harley won't spell out in the brochure. Your bike's security system is built to do far more than just blink a couple of lights. On its own, that light show doesn't scare anyone in a busy parking lot. But with the hidden siren upgrade, it becomes a whole different beast. The second someone tampers with your Harley, the alarm screams loud enough to turn every head nearby. Thieves know they've been exposed, and most won't risk sticking around. It's a feature many riders overlook, but those who know about it treat it like a silent guardian. Number 2. Why 60 seconds can save your engine. There's a certain satisfaction in hearing your Harley roar to life first thing in the morning, but giving the engine a moment before hitting the road isn't just habit, it's respect for the machine. Harley engines are built with precise tolerances, and when cold, the oil is thick and hasn't fully reached every moving part. Letting the bike idle for 30 to 60 seconds allows that oil to circulate, coating every component and reducing early wear. You don't need a long warm-up. Too much idling can lead to carbon buildup. Just a brief pause is enough to ensure smoother performance and greater longevity. Think of it as letting your bike clear its throat before it speaks in full voice. Experienced riders know that a little patience here pays dividends later, preventing small issues from turning into major headaches. On a Harley, every ride is a conversation between rider and machine, and starting it correctly sets the tone for the journey ahead. That short moment of care ensures the bike responds exactly how it should, mile after mile. Number 1. Why Harley's cruise control is smarter than you think. Highway miles can wear down even the toughest rider, especially when you're holding the throttle for hours at a time. That's why cruise control on a Harley isn't just a luxury, it's a game changer. It locks in a steady pace so you can relax your grip, stretch your hand, and let the machine carry the rhythm of the road. But here's the part many riders don't fully use: the resume function. Anytime you brake, pull in the clutch, or roll the throttle forward, cruise control disengages as a safety measure. Most riders then reset their speed manually, but Harley built in a smarter solution. A quick upward tap on the cruise switch instantly recalls your previous speed, sliding the bike right back into its groove without fuss. This is especially handy when you're slowing through construction zones, traffic pockets, or toll booths. Once clear, one tap brings you back to your set cruising pace, smooth and controlled with no abrupt jolts. It keeps your ride efficient and your rhythm unbroken, even across hundreds of miles. Seasoned touring riders swear by this feature. One rider crossing 600 miles of Texas highway said it was the difference between arriving sore and arriving steady. His words summed it up perfectly. With a cruise resume, every slowdown was just a pause, not a reset. It may seem like a small detail, yet out on the open road, it is often the smallest details that transform a ride from ordinary to effortless. That is exactly another case with Harley's cruise control. Many riders assume it is just a simple set-and-forget function, but in reality, it is far more refined than that. Imagine yourself gliding down the highway with your speed locked in, only to come up behind a slower car, drifting into your lane. Instead of scrambling to cancel cruise control, all it takes is a smooth roll of the throttle to surge ahead without breaking stride. The bike surges ahead smoothly, giving you the extra push you need to pass or merge without breaking rhythm. Here's where the magic happens. The moment you ease off, the motorcycle doesn't abandon your chosen pace. It settles right back into the exact speed you had locked in, almost like the system remembers your promise to the road. On long rides, this makes all the difference. Riders can handle quick traffic changes without losing their flow, and that consistency reduces both fatigue and distraction. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.